At 24, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. At 26, I opened Make Lemonade. By 27, I was featured in Forbes. And I guess by 29, I have successfully pivoted my business into something new. And who knows what's going to happen next.
Hi, I'm Jessica,
And I'm Tracy.
and this is She's on Top, the place where we celebrate and elevate women.
And today we are thrilled to be speaking with the very lovely Rachael Kelly, who is the founder of Make Lemonade, which is a co-working space for women in Toronto.
This is just part of our conversation with Rachael, and if you would like to see the full version, because she has a lot of great advice, you need to become a member. How do you do that? Well, check out the link below for all the details. Hi, Rachael.
Hi, Rachael.
Hi. Hello, hello.
Nice to see you again.
Absolutely. This is so fun to connect with you both again.
So we were telling a little bit of your backstory in the opening, but can you tell us like the story of how you created Make Lemonade? I remember when we talked earlier, we loved it. And if we could just get a little bit of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, it feels like 100 years ago now, considering I think we've all aged a lot in this past year. Um, but the story began, I guess, truly in October of 2016. I had been freelancing for a couple of years, either working from home or working from coffee shops. And there was kind of this constant theme that I just wasn't really satisfied with life. I was feeling very lonely. And although I had been part of a different co working space and was working for one company that offered me a full time job, everything kind of unraveled and life handed me a lemon, if you will. Um, I was offered this full time position with this company and quit all of my freelance gigs and decided to go all in with this one company. I figured, I know I have a lot to figure out in my life, but let's not figure it out and let's just put all my eggs in one basket and let this job be the answer. And then, of course, it didn't work out. And I was kind of left a little bit on off my feet to figure things out. And I said to myself, I've been wanting to create my own business for a while. And now seems like as good a time as any. If I'm not going to go for it now, then when am I? Life has handed you a lemon. Let's make lemonade out of the situation. So I've been sitting on the idea of opening my own co working space for a little while. And I kind of figured there's no better time than that moment to go forward. So that started in October 26, 2017 at 2016. And then I opened Make Lemonade stores on September 18th, 2017. So a full year later.
Wow, that's really, really cool. Now, when you started, what did you like? Did you have financing? Did you have a business plan? Did you have how did you go about starting this business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing I did, well, a couple of things. I grabbed a massive piece of paper and wrote out every single thing I could imagine possible that needed to happen on this big piece of paper. I kind of took over my living room and just had like, it just looked a little bit insane in here with just writings and scribblings and ideas. And then I reached out to a family friend who is a real estate agent, and he kind of just helped kind of lead me in the right direction. I imagined what every single possible cost could be to run and manage a space to run a co-working space. And the one main thing that I was missing was how much was rent going to cost. But I got really particular. Like I even was like, okay, well, if the average person drinks 2 cups of coffee, then they're going to have this much milk. And so, okay, this is how many like cartons of milk.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. And now we're just like, oh, milk out? Okay, great. Let's just get some milk.
I love this. So you open a co-working space. It's 2017. You get it all going, amazing, and then COVID hits. So what did you do then? How did you pivot?
Yeah, that was an interesting time in my life. That's for sure. I mean, I still feel like I'm in quite an interesting time in my life. So it was March 15th that we decided to close, and it was really amazing how quickly I have one team member. Her name is Ashley, and how amazing we made that transition and said, okay, we're going to close. We imagined, I think, just like everybody, we're going to close for 2 weeks. We kind of wrote out a laundry list of work we had to do, of like, this is the stuff that's been sitting on our, in the laundry list of things that need to get done but haven't been important. We'll work on that. And in the meantime, we will stay connected with the community and host like a free virtual co-working call every single weekday. And that worked for a while. And it was fun because we didn't really know what we were doing. We're like, let's just get everybody connected. And then as the government was saying, okay, we're going to be closed longer, and we weren't really sure where we were going. And again, we pay rent. It's a very expensive business to be in. We had expenses, that's for sure. So we said, okay, let's take this in-person program that we had created. We had run it in January. Let's bring this online. And we ran that. It was called the 4-week challenge. And we ran that for 4 weeks and then another 4 weeks on top of that. And the closures were still continuing. And we're like, we need to pave a new way forward. And we said, we have all of these people here. We have so many people who are connected to us and showing up online. We have something here. So we ended up creating a virtual membership, which is very simple. It's taking co-working and bringing it online. And, if you strip away what co-working actually is, it's not about the desks. It's not about the chairs. It's not about the beautiful office. It's about the community and about the people there. And it took a pandemic for me to really understand what my business was. And it was a community. Of course, like all small businesses during this time, we really had to reevaluate and rejig the entire business model. So the virtual membership is where everybody gets to connect. We have weekly brainstorms, a networking event. We do some virtual co-working calls too, where everyone just sits collectively, does their work, listens to the same music. We have like a Slack channel where everyone can stay connected. It's really amazing how some things can be so simple, but the main difference is there's a collective space that's everyone is doing this together. It's the same reason why we sign up for yoga classes or running apps or whatever when we know we could do this on our own too. It's staying connected and being held accountable.
Now, I mean, COVID is a struggle that obviously all of us have dealt with, but I imagine launching a space, you didn't open the doors and people rushed in. I mean, so what are some of the struggles that have surprised you? Like, what have you learned? Because we really love talking about the truth of the entrepreneurial journey, because people just see the fantastic end results like yours, but it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I really did imagine when I was going to open my space that there would be a lineup around the corner and everyone would say, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I have to be here all the time. And I think that's a feeling that all of us go through no matter what our business is. I think what people also don't prepare you for, or people try to prepare you. There are the warnings, there is the advice, you hear it, but sometimes you have to hear it 100 times until it lands for you. And one of the things for me was I didn't really understand how emotional a lot of this stuff would be, how much of like a personal taxing, having to constantly pivot, evolve, and understand who I am as a leader, as a business owner. There's a lot of responsibility when you decide to open your own business in whatever industry it is, and it keeps you up at night, and it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Are there, having said that, are there any things you would have done differently? Like one or two things that stick out in your mind?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I learned this a couple years ago, but I said I would have created a community first, which is even more true now. I opened based on like a gut feeling. I mean, this is a long gut feeling, of course. It took me about a year to open it up, and there's proven business models for co-working, but I really said, no, this is going to work. I know it deep within me. I had the business model or the business plan. I had, what was going to make things happen. But what I failed to do was really foster community before opening. I had a lot of genuine interest. But I remember so vividly, somebody said to me within the first couple weeks of me opening, I said, so do you want to join? And they said, oh, I want to see what the community is like before like making a commitment. And I remember thinking, I need you to join to be part of the community.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard, a chicken before the egg situation. And now here I am, 3 years later. We have a virtual membership. It's a very basic, simple thing. And people are so excited if they feel comfortable, given the circumstances we're in, to come to the office. So it's, if I were to do everything all over again, I would have created a community and really foster that community. And that really goes for any business. Again, I believe that having that strong relationship with your clients, your customers, your members, whichever you want to call them, and they will follow you with whatever you decide to do. So building those strong connections. So I would have done that differently.
It's funny, I'm listening to you, and I was saying, in a way, you open this whole space because you were saying you're dealing with loneliness. In a way, now you're dealing with the loneliness of being a leader, right? So, what have you learned about taking care of yourself?
Yeah, that's another really great question too. The irony of being alone is like not lost on me now, too. That's for sure. Um, but I will say again, when I first opened, I had an awesome publicist who helped kind of generate some buzz for Make Lemonade. And all of a sudden, I had to answer all these questions that I wasn't prepared for. And that was the first time in my life that I dealt with anxiety. I had never understood what that was, or I'd heard about it, could understand it in theory, but had never experienced it myself. And I thought, oh my God, I am so sorry for how I, perceived it beforehand. And so it's been an ongoing thing of learning how to take care of myself. And especially now that life is different again. One of our members actually runs a self-care club, and it's a Sunday evening meetup where you plan out your self-care. There's a yoga class, a little bit of meditation. I think self-care is really shows up in different ways for everyone. But some of the basic things that are so important is trying to get some fresh air, drinking water, not staying up super late, limiting that screen time. And for me, trying to really have some clear boundaries around my work time and my personal time too, because it can all seep into one gooey mess, and then you don't know your way up again.
Yeah, that's really so important. And and I asked you before about mistakes you made or anything. Is there something you'd say, like, what is your big success? I mean, obviously, Make Lemonade is a huge success, but what do you feel successful that you've done?
Yeah, that's great, and that's a great question. I think we all, go through it and are like, who am I? Why am I so good? Who am I to do this? We deal with the imposter syndrome, and an exercise I did a couple weeks ago was started to write out some of the awesome things that I did. So some of my great successes is that at 24, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. At 26, I opened Make Lemonade. By 27, I was featured in Forbes. And I guess by 29, I have successfully pivoted my business into something new. And who knows what's going to happen next.
Well, that's fantastic. And we are in awe of you. We think you're fantastic. We love Make Lemonade. We'll put links below to Make Lemonade so people can find out all the information there. And we know how busy you are. So thank you so much for taking time to speak with us. It was just such a pleasure speaking to you.
And before we go, how can we help you? Is there any way that we can help you before we go? We're going to put all the links so people know about the community, but is there anything else that you need people to know, or?
Yeah, tell everyone about the virtual membership at Make Lemonade. Our new tagline really is or working alone sucks, and we make it sweeter. So if you know somebody who's working from home and is feeling completely alone and lost, then Make Lemonade is a community that will help you feel found.
Thanks so much for watching. As we said off the top, if you want to see our full conversation with Rachael, you need to become a member.
We put the link below, which will take you to our website, and all the details are there. We have 4 different levels, so there's a place for everyone.
And if you are a YouTuber and you haven't yet subscribed, we would love you to subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and we have an amazing newsletter where we share information from our community and things that are inspiring us, and we would love you to sign up for that.
And finally, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment. We really do love your feedback.
See you next time.